time you study, all the little things you'll learn along the way will just make it more fun. The lighter stuff, the stuff I gave you at the beginning, that's simple, is enough. It's great. It's enough. And then the more you look at my notes, the more you study different ways. And then all of a sudden MacArthur, you probably heard this, I bet Daniel says this sometimes, he'll say, therefore something, and he says, you should always ask, therefore, what's it? Therefore. That was helpful. I was like, oh, hey, wait a minute. I can ask that question. So every time you get those little hints, that makes you study a little bit better. So you just get better and better at it. Some people are incredible at observing. Some people are not as incredible at observing. It's okay. The big idea is usually pretty blaring. It's hard to miss the big idea. The deeper stuff, but be careful, because once you start studying a little, once you get a little deeper, then you start going, oh, maybe this means this. You start getting dangerous. So be careful when you start going too deep. And that's why you stick with your commentaries or run things past a pastor. So, all right, that's the goal, was to get you guys to say, I could do this. I want you to be able to do this. I want you to be able to do it to your neighbors. I want you to be able to do it to somebody, your house. My hairstylist who says, I don't believe the Bible, and then I have to be able to say, well, just read it, and we'll just do general talk. I want you to be able to do it at least at that level, let alone teach Bible studies. We got to get more people in God's Word. Storm is coming. Got to be prepared for it. And this is the only thing that's going to be prepared for us, that book. Yeah.
How did you get to the point where you're at now?
I have no idea. That's honest truth. The Lord, I had Sunday school Bible study, with a sort of okay doctrinally church. When I came to know the Lord, and I really started following the Lord back in 1998. It's not that long ago. And the Lord did open up my mind. Now, I'll be honest with you. I read, and my husband challenges me. We try to read through the Bible every 3 months. That helps a lot. Now, it's not like I study that, I read. And then I started studying the Bible. I just started teaching and getting people into God's Word. So the more you're just sort of familiar with, where can I find, a lot of times people say, tell me, I don't understand this Moses thing. What is this Moses thing? You got to know where it is. So you're like, I don't know. Let's go look at it. Let's go read it. So we just get people into the Word, into the Word, into the Word. Please don't be intimidated. If you are intimidated, just keep trying. Try to someone appear that you're like, you know what? Can I just try this out on you? Let's just go through a book and let's just see what happens.
It just as we're obedient, it's God that does the work through His Word. So if we're obedient, willing to go with someone else through God's Word, then
I will guarantee you'll be blessed. It doesn't matter if you skip a step. It's okay. Just the only step I ask, don't skip, is this. The one mistake that you'll make that's bad, is read a passage and say, what does it mean to you? Application. And she's like, I don't even know what I read yet. Okay, and I'll tell you what it means to me. Okay, that's the only bad thing you can do. If you say, what does it say? What does it mean? How does it apply? You'll be all right. Then you can use the various things. Let's try to get a little deeper on what does it mean. Let's get a little deeper on how does it interpret. So, you'll get better at it over time. But even a light thing is very beneficial. I would love to challenge you to try to find someone in here or somebody to say, let's do the daring deed and try to just grab one book and let's just go through it one chapter at a time. 3 chapters of Titus, that's only 3. Jude, one chapter. Jude, one chapter. Can you do Jude? I don't know. Let's do Jude, okay? Let's do one chapter. So grab somebody and say, okay, you read it, I read it. Come up with what are the big themes that are coming through? Okay, then we can say, what else can we do? Hey, I cross-referenced. How'd you do that? I looked here and I cross-referenced. Wow, what'd you find? Well, I found that exact verses over here. Huh, did you find anything else? No, I just know the exact verses over here. Well, let's go over there and let's read in and around the context. Okay, let's do that. Oh, that really changed this. Oh, now I understand. You know, often the New Testament will use a quick verse of just saying, like, if someone said, without faith it's possible, faith without works is dead. And then it uses the example of Abraham, I believe. Yeah. And so then you go, okay, if you look at the cross-reference, yep, it's there. But then you go, wait a minute, why did he use that example? Read the whole story of Abraham. And then you all of a sudden go, oh, he believes in chapter 15. He does in chapter 22. Oh, faith works. So a lot of times they'll use an example, cross-reference it, but then take the time to go in and study that example of the person. What's the context of that whole thing? And then you pull it back to the thing and you're like, oh, faith without works is dead. You're right. But faith happens first, then works. Ephesians is exactly the same as what James is saying. They're not conflicting. It sounds like they're conflicting. In Romans it says, it talks about works, faith, or take Ephesians, it talks about faith and works, you know, you don't need works for your faith, you know. So it's like they aren't contradicting, but they can seem like it if you just read verse to verse. So, you know, I'm taking too long. So anyway, yeah, so you just want to read through the book of Jude together. Get the chapter titles, then maybe cross-reference, maybe get a commentary, see where it takes you. Just sort of go, okay, but don't go to application until you really understand what does it say, what does it mean. Once you're there, then you can say, how do I apply it? So that would be the only thing you'll do wrong. So challenge you, try it with somebody who's safe. And then if that goes well, then you'll start finding, actually, I am convinced that this world, the harvest is very, very great, and there's very few that are willing to help. And they only need God's word, and very few. How many people? You're a well-taught church, right? Does it get much better than Daniel? And yet, and you're probably some of the stronger women in the church. And yet, how many of you did you see, just from looking at your peers, how many did you see going, oh yeah, no problem, you have a problem with the Bible, come on, let's go for it. How many of you went, oh yeah, I feel comfortable? All of you were like, I don't know, I'm a little nervous. Okay, we want to get unnervous, and we want to get other people unnervous. Nobody knows this, and this is their only chance for life and godliness, is right here. So, you have the best shot of any of the women in the church. And you have the best shot at affecting more people is just by doing this. So, yes.